Let's move to number 3 here, and let's talk about the Michigan Wolverines. I think this team is very exciting and very interesting to talk about. They made the preseason top 25, and honestly, I'm quite surprised. I do believe they're going to be a good basketball team, but I'm surprised they made the preseason top 25 because they had a great recruiting class last year, but they did turn over a big part of their roster. They do still have the favorite in my mind for the conference player of the year in Hunter Dickinson. That's probably what made them there get into that preseason. But when you look at other than Dickinson, who comes back, yeah, Terrence Williams great, Kobe Buffkin's great, Jace Howard's good, but you look at everybody else. I mean, there's a transfer from Princeton, transfer from Duke. You got red shirts coming in, and then a whole bunch of other 4 stars, freshmen. A lot of question marks for the Wolverines, and how they will handle that is going to be a big question mark, especially in a very deep Big Ten conference. Your thoughts on the Wolverines this year?
Well, it's funny that you mentioned when we talked about Illinois and Iowa, you mentioned their football teams and how, in a way, that kind of mirror each other. You can say the same thing about the Wolverines. Celebrity coach Harbaugh in football, Juwan Howard in basketball. I think that gives you some instant credibility, even with the suspension and some of the odd happenings with Howard. He showed he knows how to put a squad together and how to coach. Jalen Llewellyn in the Big Ten is going to have jaws drop. This guy can score. In the Ivy League, you tend to, even though it's getting a little bit more wide open, he kind of got lost a little bit in the system that Princeton plays. But he is going to be, everybody's going to be talking about come December and January. Who is this guy? How can somebody from the Ivy League step into the Big Ten and be a superstar? He has that potential. I'm really excited about that. So you've got Dickinson, you got Llewellyn. So they're going to be able to score with anyone. They've got talent up and down that roster, so they're going to be fun. It's a matter of, will they be disciplined enough? Will they stay out of foul trouble so that when they're in close games late, now suddenly they're scrambling? I'm not as sold on their depth yet, but the Wolverines are another team in the Big Ten that will probably flourish later than sooner. So I can see why people are falling in love with the Wolverines. I can see it. Certainly more than I can see one of the teams we're going to talk about here in a little bit. When you can score at the rate that they're going to be able to score, I mean, you're going to be a tournament team. So I think Michigan Wolverine fans should be really, really excited about this squad. Are they going to win the Big Ten? I really doubt it. I really doubt it. But they're going to be fun to watch, and they're going to give teams troubles and give them fits all the way through the season.
The only thing that concerns me about Llewellyn, I mean, he had a fantastic year last year in Princeton, 15.7 points per game, almost 16. But when you look at his assists, he's hardly breaking 3. And that's somebody who in my mind, looking at this roster, is going to have to facilitate that ball to a guy like Hunter Dickinson, who averaged almost 19 points a game. He got his rebounds great, but Hunter's going to need to get that ball if he wants to, lead the conference and be that conference player of the year up front runner. A guy like Llewellyn is going to have to do that. And we really didn't see him facilitate it in the Ivy League. Will he do it in the Big Ten? That is, to me, a big question that we probably are going to get answered sooner than later. But you'd have to say that that's definitely a concern initially right off the bat.
Well, I agree. In coming out of high school, he was considered to be a diamond, not something you had to put pressure and polish to become a diamond. He was considered to be an all-around basketball player. I think he was in a tough situation where he was asked to shoot more because he was the best shooter they had, but also he had to sometimes step back in the system, and it just didn't work out that he was getting his shots. I don't worry about him being able to distribute the basketball and get it where he needs to get it. But the fact is, he can also pull up, drain a three, drain an important basket. So I really think he's a great compliment to Dickinson. I think you're going to see him be a different player, but a much better and more productive player now that he's moved up a step, well, more than a step really in competition. I think he is gonna in the Big Ten game, Llewellyn's the kind of guy that flourishes.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing him play. Again, just think that this might be a slight concern initially right off the bat. When you look at their schedule, they start off pretty decent, pretty easy. Could be some good warm ups, you would hope, right?
You
And
mean
in
a
November,
Michigan team is playing cupcake? I can't believe it. I can't believe that actually happens.
yeah, initially. And then you get to the end of November, and then you face UVA in the ACC Big Ten Challenge. That's really their first true, and then it really starts getting going. Beginning of December, they play Kentucky. End of December, the Jumpman Invitational, they're playing UNC. So November and December isn't a walk in the park. Just the beginning of November, it's gonna be a walk in the park. They should head into against Virginia. There should be no issue. They should head in 5-0. We'll see what happens. Really, again, that relies on Jalen Llewellyn. Can he facilitate the ball and Dickinson? And then Jet Howard. We didn't really talk about Jet Howard, the son of the coach. It seems like I could just be speculating here, but it seems like the team was built around him so he can have a big part in the roster. They built around him. Now, whether that's a good thing or not, we're going to see his skill a little more this year. But it seems like the coach, Howard, found a way to get his son to play a larger role. Now there really is no option because of how they built around him. So that could be one of those pieces that could fall apart or really flourish as well. So really looking forward to that portion.